So just when I was thinking about, it's actually kind of shameless to make another Arknight Endfields video after this big announcement of me quitting the Arknight, and I couldn't be more wrong than that. I feel ashamed of myself to even feel ashamed of doing this video. And I'm talking no other content creators than this absolute larper of our gacha game, the Timu Bobby. Blow thought that he's gonna be the whistleblower for the PowerCreep in the Arknight Endfield, but the only thing that he blew was his own PP.
This game is undergoing some of the worst balancing ever, and knowing that this game is just populated by grifters and shills who will lie about everything going on just to say the game is good, I wouldn't be surprised if there's just no, like, Enfield CCs are just choosing not to involve this in the discussion.
Because power creeping doesn't really matter in Arknight Endfield, for two specific reasons. Like one, I could get all the reward that actually matters, like the pools, with free-to-play account as a general player. Arknight is the most casual game when it comes to getting all the reward. You can literally get all the pools by just participating. And no, I'm not saying this in a dishonest way, like you actually need a crazy skill to get it. And unlike most of the bigger gacha game out there, including Verdling Waves, they gatekeep the reward behind the periodic endgame content, and it requires you to use a specific team or the stronger unit to clear the final stage. Even though you don't actually miss much if you are not able to clear it, it's usually less than one pool, but it is engineered to be there to induce your fear of missing out. So it's more like a psychological thing, so that they create this incentive for you to pool for the latest character. So power creeping definitely matters more in this game than the Arknight Endfield. So if I can't get all the reward without pooling for the stronger characters, then why would power creep matters for the general player? And that's why most of the CC doesn't really talk about it, aside from saying the larper, because it doesn't really matter for the general player. And the other thing that makes power creeping less relevant in Arknight Endfield is that Arknight Endfield is 60% power level game and 40% mechanic game. Unlike most of the gacha game, you are using pretty much the same rotation on different boss. But when you are facing different kinds of enemy, or the enemy with the different mechanics, your rotation and your playstyle gonna change significantly. And I think Dev has sent this message very clear in the contingency contract. The MVP of the contingency contract is nobody else other than Estella, which is the free-to-play unit. This is the only gacha that I've seen that the lowest ranking characters able to dominate the endgame content. And by the way, this is also like why I'm able to clear the same stage that Saint, who sucks at every game, couldn't clear, but I could clear it with half of his team.
Oh, I'm dead because he's just gonna use it again. This is clearly designed, like, I think, to just massively shill this dog shit unit, Rossi.
Because I tried 10 minutes of effort to understand the mechanics behind it, but he doesn't. But this larper just want to prove that the game is unplayable so much so that he doesn't allow himself to think about the game mechanics. But let's take a look at his indisputable fact from a calculation website. But before that, I gotta say that, like, prop to whoever create the calculator. I'm not attacking the data in itself, I'm attacking the interpretation.
These are the top DPS teams in Endfield following the release of Lino. These are all P0 characters, and let me just double check real fast. Are these weapons also like I think every team has like R4 weapons too, so I guess it's not that big of a deal.
The guy doesn't even know why every single weapon is R4, and you guys take his words seriously. You should be ashamed of yourself. And yeah, just to summarize his video, but basically half of his video is about this. And this is exactly where he get 170% power creep form.
And look who is there, Camille. Oh, that's not very good, is it?
Little did he know that this is the most stupidest aha I gotcha moment smile, cause I'm about to disintegrate this smile in a minute.
It's like 40-something%. Maybe high 30s.
It's actually 70%, but you somehow ramp it up on the thumbnail to like 170%. You gotta get yourself re-educated and learn how math actually work. You can't even figure out 120 is less than 160. I'm talking about the guarantee pool.
That is the DPS difference between using a Levitain team. So what's exactly going on?
Let me explain that to you. And this is like why playing the game actually matter. Because you are forcing a multi-target specialist into a single targeted scenario. Of course, she wouldn't perform. Anyone with the most basic knowledge on Levitain would know that Anton is the single targeted support. This team is playing Levitain as a single targeted DPS, and that's not where she optimized the most. And it's not just the AoE. Her kit scales with the amounts of enemy on field. The more enemy on the field, the better she gonna perform, which is what Zhuangfang Yi and Arcane not capable of. Her best team is actually looking like this, with Wolfguard and the Gilberta. This is the kind of team that Levitain gonna perform the best. But the DPS check wouldn't be able to reflect that, cause there's no accurate way to measure the DPS in the multiple enemy scenario.
Do I need to play Enfield to know that there is power creep when one is 170% the value of the other?
Which is equivalent to 70% more, by the way. But you choose to use the interpretation that's gonna get you the biggest number, so you can rage bait and mislead people into thinking that it is 170% more.
And so the argument that you need to play the game to understand the numbers is kind of absurd. Because I learned numbers in school. Yes, I learned how to calculate and fucking analyze numbers in school. That's not related to games, to be honest.
But this school somehow failed to make you acknowledge that 120 is less than 160.
Especially in the context of something numerical that can be measured. That's a metric. I just watched the Olympic sprint. Usain Bolt got first place. Do I need to be an Olympic sprinter to say that he was first place?
Of course not. But you're comparing a chess player's 100-meter sprint with an actual sprinter, you fucking idiot. We can keep blabbers about the theory crafting all we want, but you wouldn't understand anyway. So I'll just let the numbers do the talking. This is the recent in-game content in a stage called The Old Tales of the Wild. It is the multiple enemy environment. There's no boss and elite. It just waves up really tanky mobs. I don't own Arcane, neither the Tang. So I sort out to the videos that got the closest team comp to the one that you saw on the data. So we got Lino and Arcane. The two supposedly broke the game, power creeping everything in Enfield. The team got 2 minutes and 44 seconds. The gameplay also seems pretty good and standard. It doesn't look like he's playing with the bananas controller with his toe. And this is my 1.0 P0 team. I got 2 minutes and 33 seconds. I don't even own Camille. Why is this happen? Because Levitain is made for this specific scenario, the multiple enemy scenario, and Arcane isn't built for this. This is all the stat that I could gather on YouTube. It does seems like it's not easy for Arcane to perform in this stage, especially as a DPS. They can hardly get a 230, so obviously she's not the best for the multiple enemy scenario. But things change significantly when you turn Arcane into a support for the Zhuangfang Yi, which require you to change her playstyle and the gear entirely, and you do need Zhuangfang Yi to make this team work. This is from one of the optimized run by Marisa. It's 1 minute and 15 seconds. This is actually super crazy. I don't think general player could do it at all. The other video that got exactly the same team got 1 minute and 48 seconds, which I think is a more realistic comparison. But still, the buff from Arcane is pretty significant. But it's not entirely because Arcane is broken, but it's more like Zhuangfang Yi getting 2 premium dedicated electric support. So you do still need to learn the game in order to use Arcane properly. So do power creep happen in Arknight Endfield? Whenever gacha game came out with a stronger characters, then it is power creep. Like duh, just like any other gacha game. And the issue is the drama queen Tantus just turned this common gacha problem into a unique one. And that's my main issue with him. And the other thing that he haven't mentioned that I find it dishonest is about Arknight Endfield is still at the early stages of the game. You ain't gonna get a complete premium team in the early phase. So whenever a character fill in a significant role, like the Camille and Lino are pretty good examples of that, you're gonna see the power levels of all team going up and down tremendously. And to be honest, I don't think in-game content play a significant role when it comes to whether a game is fun or not. It's the story, the characters, the world, the vibe that they built. And in-game content is the last thing that you want to enjoy out of all of these aspects. And it's in the name, in-game. Anyway, I don't think the whole thing is that much of a big deal, but I think it's entertaining enough to make fun of. And I think the biggest danger that the community could have is not whatever the third Tanta said. The biggest threat is to take this LARPer's words seriously. And whenever he's making some shit takes on whatever game that I'm playing, I'm gonna keep discredit him and destroy his credential in the gacha space. Not only that his takes are lazy, inflammatory, they are only there to farm the negative engagement. Anyway, have a good one guys. See ya.